The other way of categorizing these networks is depending on the coverage area. One is called local area network. They are for very short distance, few meters you can say, and they are designed only to provide local connectivity. Say in your college, the lab can be LAN connected. Okay. So only in a small office, one floor can be LAN connected. So like that, you can have LANs, which are called local area networks, connecting only a small area. Then comes wide area network. This is to connect a larger area, say a college campus, a university campus, or a software park. You can connect them through a wide area network. They cover longer distance. They provide connectivity over large area. But generally, WANs are leased lines, means you have to pay somebody to use the WANs. Then you have metropolitan area networks. They cover the entire city or the campus. Okay, so Bangalore can have a MAN. So these are some of the different network topologies. I just move ahead. Let us directly go to a heterogeneous network. Means you will have a mixture of a star topology, a ring topology, and this is also another ring. This is star, this is star, and you can have connection between two wide area networks using a point-to-point WAN. So now there are how exactly your system can connect to the internet. There are two methods. One is called circuit switching, another is called packet switching. So circuit switching is the traditional age-old way of how telephone connections were made way back in 80s and early 90s. You can say if somebody had to make a long distance call, then they had to call up telephone exchange office. They will find whichever line is free. If the line is free, they will connect you to the destination. If the line is not free, they'll ask you to wait. The waiting would have gone to half an hour, 1 hour. But with circuit switching, what happens is there is a dedicated path set from source to destination, and all the traffic means all the data from source to destination will follow that path only. It will not go into any other path. So in circuit switching, initially setting up the connection takes a longer time, but data transfer will happen smoothly. And after the data transmission is successfully done, the connection has to be toned down, means it should be disconnected. Coming to the second technique, packet switch network. In this case, there is no proper path or dedicated path set between source and destination. Suppose this system wants to send data, it will not send the data continuously. Instead, it will break it into smaller chunks, which we call as packets here. Can you see these square and rectangular boxes? They are packets. Packet, you can say, is collection of some bytes. So all the packets that are coming will be put in a queue. They may come from multiple sources. And based on the availability of the path from the router, they are forwarded to the destination. So data that goes from this system will go through few hops before it reaches the destination with no there is no guarantee that all the packets of a particular source will take the same path to reach the destination. Whenever the packet arrives, whichever path is free, it will forward. But ultimately, they all reach the destination. So circuit switching is now very outcasted because uh, today the traffic is very high. You cannot give any two users a dedicated path. You have to rather go with packet switching, where a packet can come from multiple source. Each packet carries the source, the destination address, and a packet number, and they all do their own journey to reach the destination. Ultimately, the packet numbers will tell the receiver what is the order of the data so that they can rearrange the data and use them. So that's explained here. Now coming to today's internet. So internet, today is a wealth of knowledge. Everybody wants to use internet either for exchange of information, knowledge, or entertainment, or for commercial purpose, or for getting news or weather forecast, whatever it may be. Today, we are all on some sort of internet application. Okay. So how is this internet actually organized? So there is some hierarchy that is introduced in internet. You have something called internet service providers. They are the organization who provide you the internet. Okay. Like your Airtel or BSNL or Jio. They are the one who are providing you service. So you can see individual users are connected to the nearest internet service providers. These internet service providers are connected to the regional internet service provider like Bangalore region or Karnataka region. And these regional centers are connected to the national ISP. Countrywide, there is one standard, one central hub, you can say, where individual regions internet has to, data has to go through. All such national ISPs of all countries together are again connected through network access points to form what you call as the total internet. Okay. So internet is something, it's a network that covers the entire globe. Now, this internet also has certain key elements. Without the key elements, it just cannot work. What are the key elements? For syntax, semantics, and timings. Syntax is structure and format of the data. Now, every user on the internet cannot send the data according to his or her choice. It should be in a proper format. Okay. So there are rules. You give the data in whatever format you want. There are certain algorithms or certain softwares running that change it to a standard format. So, okay. So that is a syntax. And bits in the data also give you lot of meaning. Some bits will be pure data. Some bits will be certain control informations like starting, ending delimiters. Some bits will be used for error detection. Some bits will carry the source destination address. Certain bits will carry the say IP addresses. Okay. So you have meaning for all the bits. Then comes semantics. The meaning of the bit should be interpreted properly. So there is some algorithms running on source and destination that try to understand what is the meaning of the bits and what action should be taken based on the meaning. Then timing is very important. As I said, everything is time bound. So before if they cross the time limit, that particular information is disregarded. It's not considered. So we have a network model design. It is designed based on a layered architecture. Now, why is layered architecture used is because the internet itself is a complex process. There are so many things happening uh, and they cannot be implemented in a single layer. Okay, so they were classified into layers. Each layer does certain jobs. Like you want the data to be secure, you want the data to be in a standard format, the data should be routed in a proper channel. Okay, there should be error correction and detection of the data. So many parameters are there. So they thought better you do it in a layered architecture. Okay, so let us go through that layered architecture. A single layer would look like this: listen, talk. Means if Maria is talking, Anne will listen. If Anne is talking, Maria will listen. And whatever they are speaking is going through a media called air. So I have two layers here. Definitely they show both should be speaking in a language which they know each other. That's the protocol. If Maria speaks French, then Anne should be knowing French. Whereas Anne speaks English and Maria can understand only French, then it's a total miscommunication. So protocols are to be followed by both the layers, and without the proper protocols, the data will be misinterpreted or illegible. So this shows a three-layer architecture, which is mapped to the postal delivery. Okay. So Maria wants to write a letter to Anne. So in the layer 3, okay, she has the tools to write the letter. She has a paper, she has a pen, she has a cover. So she has written a plain text, okay, and she will put it in a cover and seal it. Now that is nothing but you have hidden the data. You have hidden the data. Now she will put it in her post box. The postman picks. He never opens the cover, right? He is not supposed to open the cover. Means your data is hidden. What does the postman do? He puts it in a carrier that carries the letter all the way to the destination. When it reaches the destination, it is received, and the postman there picks it. He also doesn't open the cover and read the letter, but he ensures the letter is delivered to Anne. Anne will finally open the cover and read. Now you should understand that there are 3 layers. Each layer is doing a specific role. So top level layer is doing the data is in plain text. Simple English it is written. Whatever Maria has written, Anne is able to read it. But what Maria has written is encrypted or it is hidden by putting it in a cover and the postman carries it. Now, layer 2 at the receiving end receives the sealed envelope. It is still in the secret form. Finally, it is opened only at the receiving end. That is called decrypting. Okay. So, see here, though the example is depicted for a postman, reality you should understand the internet work is happening with 3 layers. Say in this example, Maria has written, which is plain text. She gives it to layer 2. Layer 2's job is to hide the data. So it will be encrypted. Nobody can read now. The encrypted data will be sent over a carrier to reach the destination. At the receiver, it is received and then it should be decrypted before giving to Anne. Otherwise, Anne won't understand what Maria has written. So this thing is done. This is called a layered architecture. Layered architecture helps us to divide a complex task into smaller subtasks, one thing. Then allows us to separate the service from the implementation. So you have implemented a model, later you are telling this service will be done in this layer. So this makes the complex task achievable with multiple layers. Okay. So we have protocol are nothing but set of rules. 2 layers at the same level. Layer 3 with layer 3 at the receiving end. Layer 2 at the sending and the layer 2 at the receiving. They actually speak to each other. What Maria wrote, Anne understood. What the layer 2 encrypted, this side layer 2 decrypted it. So that is called peer-to-peer communication. Okay, peer-to-peer communication. So it was a plain text here. It will be a plain text here. It was a ciphertext here. Here also it is cipher. Later decrypted and given as a plain text. Here it is put in a cover, mailed. Here also it's put in a cover and mailed. So you have physically, though the data travels like this, there is a logical connection between 2 peer layers.